All right, only got a little bit left to go in Leviticus, chapter 24, and then the endings, 26 and 27. I actually kind of missed 24 earlier, so now we're going to go back and do it again. We're going to go do this because I missed it earlier. The Lord said to Moses, "Command the Israelites to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, so that the lamps may be kept burning continually. Outside the curtain of the tent of the testimony in the tent of meeting, Aaron is to tend the lamps before the Lord from evening till morning continually. This is to be a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. The lamps on the pure gold lampstand before the Lord must be tended continually." So they had this lampstand that had 7 branches with 7 lamps in it. This is what we call the menorah today. And these lamps are supposed to be continuously lit. I'm not sure how they did it when they were traveling around. I guess someone was carrying it. Because this was a traveling tent, and so the pieces and articles that went in it would have been traveling too, including this lampstand. So I'm guessing someone would have been carrying it very carefully to make sure the lights still were on, even while I guess. Take fine flour and bake 12 loaves of bread, using 2/10 of an ephah for each loaf. Set them in 2 rows, 6 in each row, on the table of pure gold before the Lord. Among each row put some pure incense as a memorial portion to represent the bread and to be an offering made to the Lord by fire. This bread is to be set out before the Lord regularly, Sabbath after Sabbath, on behalf of the Israelites, because there's 12 tribes of Israel, so there's 12 loaves of bread, as a lasting covenant. It belongs to Aaron and his sons, who are to eat it in a holy place, because it is a most holy part of their regular share of the offerings made to the Lord by fire. Now here is the next and last section of narrative in the book of Leviticus. We had the section about the priests earlier, and then the Nadab and Abihu scene where they violated the Lord's commands, offered strange fire before the Lord, contrary to his instructions, and were punished for it. Now we have another example of someone defying the Lord and being punished for it. Now the son of an Israelite mother and an Egyptian father, so this was a union between people while they were still back in Egypt, apparently, went out among, so I guess that Israelite mother would have been that Egyptian father's slave, I suppose. He went out among the Israelites, and a fight broke out in the camp between him and an Israelite, I guess a full-blooded Israelite. I don't know if the Egyptian father is with them. Apparently the Israelite mother is, because we get her genealogy here. The son of the Israelite woman blasphemed the name. So he did take the name of the Lord in vain. In this case, it's blasphemy. With a curse. So he swore falsely by the name of the Lord. So they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri the Danite. Dan, of course, is the tribe of Israel. So the mother apparently is with them. She's an Israelite, and I guess she was likely the slave of this Egyptian father and had this union with, I don't know, and had a union with this man and produced this son. I don't know if this Egyptian father came with them when they left. Apparently the Israelite mother did. I'm not really clear on that, but it seems possible, seems likely. I don't know about the Egyptian father. They put him in custody until the will of the Lord should be made clear to them. So there is a minor aspect of prison time there, but that's not the same thing as our prison time. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Take the blasphemer outside the camp. All those who heard him are to lay their hands on his head." I don't know how many sets of hands you'd have on your head. And the entire assembly, I guess you do it all once at a time, I don't know. And the entire assembly is to stone him. Say to the Israelites, if anyone curses his God, he will be held responsible. Anyone who blasphemes the name of the Lord must be put to death. So there is your idea of taking the Lord's name in vain with a curse. Typically when we said it, as I said earlier, when we talk about taking the Lord's name in vain in terms of the covenant, in terms of the 10 Commandments, we're not really talking about like using God's name as part of a curse word like we would think of it today. That is more specifically in the context of taking an oath in the name of the Lord falsely. That is what it means to take the Lord's name in vain. Here, though, they do say not to blaspheme the name of God with a curse. This, I believe, could overlap with the idea of using God's name as a swear word, if you even consider the name of God to be God. And that really is just a word. That's a whole other discussion, though. The entire assembly must stone him, whether an alien or native born. When he blasphemes the name, he must be put to death. The name would be, of course, Yahweh, Jehovah, however you want to pronounce it, the YHWH or JHVH, I am name of God. That's the name that later generations of Israelites would not even speak. They were so fearful of taking it in vain or speaking it falsely, they wouldn't even. Now, they weren't supposed to do that. That was an overreaction. Okay, that was an overreaction. But later generations did do that. And here you see an early glimpse of it. Now, maybe this was being edited by some later scribe who emphasized the name part of it because that's what they were doing in his culture by that time, maybe. But that's the name that's what's behind that word name there, is the I am name of God. If anyone takes the life of a human being, he must be put to death. Anyone who takes the life of someone's animal must make restitution, life for life. If anyone injures his neighbor, whatever he has done must be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he has injured the other, so he is to be injured. Whoever kills an animal must make restitution. Whoever kills a man must be put to death. You are to have the same law for the alien and for the native born. I am the Lord your God. Then Moses spoke to the Israelites, and they took the blasphemer outside the city, outside the camp. They don't have a city yet. The camp, and stoned him. The Israelites did as the Lord commanded Moses. Consistently, the idea of taking you out of the community is linked to a death sentence. Here it is a death sentence. They took him outside the community and stoned him. Then they might have burned him up afterwards. We've seen some penalties for sins being burned up. I'm assuming the burning up happens after they're stoned. So they may have burned this guy up after they stoned him. I'm not sure. But this all happens outside the camp, outside the community. Later on, it'll be outside the city. Gehenna itself, the idea that the word that we translate as Gehenna in our New Testaments, refers to an actual place outside the city where they burn their trash. And that place, that valley, that area, what the New Testament in some cases calls Gehenna, refers to a valley where in the Old Testament days they offered up child sacrifices. And Jeremiah, we'll read about this in the book of Jeremiah, says that one of these days I'm going to take this valley where you sacrifice your children and I'm going to burn your bodies there. So the idea of taking them outside the city and destroying them is consistent all throughout Scripture. I'm going to go ahead and start a new video, even though this one isn't getting very long yet. But